House thwarts bid to halt Iran war. That's not the thing. That's the thing. There we go. But some in GOP see support fading. You're not going to believe it, guys. You're not going to believe it. The vote to end the Iran war, or at least to subject the Iran war to congressional approval, failed by one Democrat vote. One Democrat vote. Yes, sir. Fetterman, it's the House. It's the House. It's not the Senate. It's the House. Failed by a vote of 213 to 214, with one Republican member voting present. It required at least 2 more votes to pass, or one no vote to be changed into a yes. Jared Golden was the only sole Democrat voting in opposition. Yes, he's taken money from AIPAC. Yes, he's a blue dog Democrat who calls himself like a conservative progressive or something. Yes, he's a deep state plant. Jared Golden is retiring too. Obviously, that's how the rotating villain strategy works. You pick the guy who's on his way out so he can take the heat. I guarantee you that if they needed 2 votes, they would have found 2. If they needed 5, they would have found 5. There's a reason why. You never get these edge case wins, man. The Dems are evil. Yes, sir. I know a lot of shit libs are going to argue against this, but it's really important to understand that this war in Iran is illegal and it's literally devastating the global economy. Securing control over it and subjugating it to congressional authority is of overwhelming importance. So you would think that if there was a Democrat who broke rank, one Democrat out of hundreds, to be the one needed vote to keep it from passing, this person would be waking up to lit torches outside their bedroom window the next day, you know? Like, they would not be able to sleep comfortably for the rest of their political career. They'd be done, right? Like, not only, like, beyond being in Congress and not running for re-election. I mean, it would be, like, ruinous. The Democratic Party would be calling for their head in the stick. And what's happening here? You're not going to see it. Is Hakeem Jeffries going to whip the fuck out of him? No. Did Hakeem Jeffries whip the House? I actually don't know. Did he? I'm going to guess he didn't. Imagine if a single Republican ruined an abortion ban. It's even more. Imagine if a single Republican ruined an abortion ban for the Republicans, and then the Republican Party didn't respond to it at all. Like, no follow-up press conferences where they're, like, losing their fucking mind. No gigantic, like, nationwide, like, insane fervor on what they did. No conversation on the national betrayal they would have committed in the eyes of Republicans. Just like, oh, no, okay, it happened. Unimaginable, because the Republicans actually care about getting stuff done. Bad stuff, but stuff. Imagine what they'll have to do after November when they have majorities everywhere. Yeah, Democrats having to field, like, 43 revolving villains every fucking vote. Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, we found this. All of us were actually against subjecting the Iran war to congressional authority the entire time. Yeah. Would it need to go to the Senate even if it passed? Yes. It's not about whether or not it would have passed. It's about whether or not the Democratic Party is signaling that they're serious about actually pushing their agenda forward. Again, this is an illegal war that is destroying the global economy. This is not some minor issue. This isn't something you can just throw your, oh, okay, so you have a couple people who disagree. This isn't some mild procedural vote. This is like for the soul of the republic. And Democrats consider it unimportant enough that they'll allow some single fucking retard to take the hit. Of course, the cynics among us are probably aware of the revolving door. To be clear, the revolving door villain theory is the idea that if you secretly want something to happen, but you want to pretend that you're against it, you only need to get the minimum number of people necessary to take the fall to vote against it or for it. You only need like the tiniest amount. You just need to slip it on by. So often what Democrats will do, again, if you're cynical, is they will take unpopular, centrist, Democratic House candidates, members not running for re-election, and they'll say, you take it. It doesn't matter. You're going to be on the board of some consultancy firm by, next year anyway. Do it. You take the fall. Sounds like a genuine flaw in the system? Yeah, a little bit. I'm assuming these Democrats get their pockets filled with bribes. No, it's just like they're all in favor of the Iran war. Not all of them, but like A significant number of them, yeah. A ton of the Democrats are in favor of it. Or too meek to oppose it? No, they're in favor of it. We still don't have a unified Democratic opposition to the war. The vote wasn't even on stopping the war necessarily. It was on subjugating it to congressional approval so that the president can't run amok without the approval of Congress. When Schumer and Jeffries talk about their main problems with this war, the main thing they bring up is that Trump didn't follow the right procedure for doing it. They're not morally opposed to the war. They're Zionists. They'll do anything and everything that Israel needs, and that involves perma-war against Iran. In a statement, Golden, who's retiring after his current term, oh, I know, noted there were now intense negotiations between the U.S. and Iran during the 2-week ceasefire and claimed a resolution like this would weaken our hand. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I bet. Isn't Congress supposed to hold this power already? Yeah, it's an illegal war, but Congress ceded that power. I wish the rotating villain strategy was talked about more openly. Yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of like the ultimate black pill, because it means you can no longer trust the authenticity of any vote that any Democrat gives. Because if they signal they support something, but it doesn't go through anyway, then, like, did they really support it? Or was it just they could, like, get away with pretending they did while there were no consequences for their pretending to support it? A good example would be yesterday we had a record number of people who voted against providing arms to Israel. I think, like, what was it, 40 Senate Democrats voted against it. Even people like Adam Schiff, they voted against providing arms and bulldozers to Israel. But, like, it still passed, of course, because that's not enough. So did they really believe that, or did they just think they could get away with it? Yeah, every presidential hopeful did, even Slotkin. Yeah, Slotkin's probably going to run. Fuck Slotkin. Yeah, I hope it goes without saying, but everything that I've said about Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom applies to her as well. We have to save the Democratic Party from these people. Especially applies to her. I think it might apply to her more than Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris, which is crazy, but, you know. Shame you can't do a Green Party like we have in the UK. We have a Green Party here. I'm sure it's the same. Is there any news coverage on this, or are we all pretending it didn't happen?
I want to bring in MS Now's Kevin Fry on Capitol Hill. Tyler Pager is New York Times White House correspondent, and former Democratic Congresswoman Jane Harman from California, who was ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee and is president emerita of the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars. I want to go straight to you, Kevin. Where's that vote stand right now?
Right. So as we're watching right now, and you'll have the latest and greatest on the screen, I'm sure, is that we're only seeing one Republican currently voting in support of this. That would be notably one less than the last go-around. Democrats, though, are much more in line. There were 4 Democrats that voted against this the last go-around about a month.
And this time, just one voted against it, which is the exact number they needed.
Ago. Now it seems they are largely in lockstep. I was talking to Congressman Gregory Meeks, the top Democrat in the House Foreign Affairs Committee, who is also spearheading this initiative. He has been working Republicans, trying to get them off the fence to side with him, but clearly that does not seem to be playing out. We're still watching a few more Republicans to see how exactly they will cast their ballots. The debate on this resolution got incredibly heated, and quite frankly, lawmakers were throwing punches at each other over exactly what the future of this fight should look like, questioning each other's patriotism. Here is some of that.
Politics. Everything
Webster's dictionary defines politics as
that my colleague just talked about, his hypocritical remarks about we need to do these things, it's all politics.
Jesus Christ, this guy is tired as I am. Holy shit. I'm not really in a position right now to criticize other people's rhetoric, but this guy, like, are you were waiting in line for your chance to speak for this? And
Democrat colleagues are not paying attention to national security at all.
I never challenged the gentleman's patriotism to this country. He better never challenge my patriotism to this country. To think that he has a privilege to do that, no. There's no one that has more patriotism. I have family members who lost their lives for this country. I'm here because of my patriotism.
okay.
And that continued in various states for the better part of an hour. Now, one of the things to level set here when it comes to this is even if this were to pass, which at this point, unless there's some last-minute changes in the vote, it seems likely that it's going to squeak by in the losing column. This would not have, of course, gotten through the Senate in short order. It just failed a similar resolution just yesterday there. And
the Dems need to have more strict rules on party discipline. To be clear, this happened because the Democrats wanted this to happen. Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, is in favor of aggression against Iran. Repeatedly over his career, he has supported attacks against Iran, even ones conducted by Trump. He has repeatedly eschewed the value of law and international diplomacy in favor of punishing them for the crime of being near Israel, I suppose. This is the discipline.
Obviously, the president could veto this, and in no chamber have we seen anything close to resembling a veto-proof majority. And so this conversation will continue likely for at least the next 2 weeks. That's when we see the War Powers Act of 1973, kind of a deadline for when Congress may need to step in. And some Republicans are telling us that that could be the deadline that might actually force them to the table.
Yeah, this classic bit, I remember.
That when it's all said and done, we're going to stand together. Israel today, Israel tomorrow, Israel forever. God bless you.
What an interesting thing to say when you're an American.
A lot of them are hoping, of course, this will be over by then, but you can debate whether or not there's any chance of that.
All right, so while the political world was watching that, Tyler, the president just announced on Truth Social that Israel and Lebanon have agreed to a 10-day ceasefire.
Yeah, okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Most animated I've ever seen him? Yep. Yes, sir. Literally the segregation quote. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, there's a famous quote in American. Was it segregation today, segregation forever? It's a known quote. Yeah, George Wallace, thank you. Today, tomorrow, forever, yeah. Feels like this is proving your point that voting for non-progressive Democrats is pointless. Hey, keep in mind that the procedure to replace Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer could be conducted or at least like broached at any time by anyone, and they're just not doing it because they don't want to. So even the progressive Democrats are to a large extent complicit in their continued rule. Why didn't the revolving villain theory prevent the Epstein files release and the Obama-Iran nuclear deal? Well, because the Democrats wanted the Epstein file release, so it doesn't really apply in that case. Like, every Democrat voted for it. And as for the Obama-Iran nuclear deal, it's not always a perfect lockstep theory. Like, not every issue is resolved by it. Keep in mind that Schumer did vote against the Obama-Iran nuclear deal. I just think that it would have been difficult to whip people for, you know? But again, keep in mind that, like, describing a tendency within the party and within government doesn't mean that it's like a uniform law that's obeyed perfectly every time. It just means that this is a thing that keeps happening. How often do you have such a case with the Republicans? Republicans don't really do the revolving door villain theory because they enforce party discipline a lot more openly. The Republican Party is a lot more internally democratic in the sense that there's a lot of scrutiny paid towards people who don't follow the party line, and there's an effort to try to bring them in line with the interests of the greater party. A lot more like whipping being done back there. Like Mike Johnson is non-stop whipping over in the House. Like Hakeem Jeffries barely does it at all, but like Mike Johnson, every day he's like, fuck, I gotta wrangle like 50 people in line today. All the time. The Republicans in general are a lot more honest about being dishonest, or at the very least, it's easier to read what they actually want from what they do. They want like evil and child rape and stuff, you know. But at least they're predictable. Wolves, not foxes. Yeah. How does whipping actually work? Like, do you just go around reminding people that it's important to rape kids or whatever? But, I mean, joke aside, essentially, it's you go and you bully people. That's why it's called whipping. Like, you whip up the votes. You go there, you make promises, you make deals. You say, if you don't do this, your career is over. Democrats don't do it because they never tell anyone their career is over. Like, it's a fucking retirement party for octogenarians and party loyalists. It's not like they don't threaten anyone unless you're Graham Plattner or Bernie Sanders, I guess. AOC, yeah. What Pelosi did for that Iron Dome vote to AOC, that was whipping. When Pelosi took AOC aside and made her cry, and then AOC came back and voted present on the Iron Dome funding vote, that was whipping. Because Pelosi did her damn job. Hakeem Jeffries doesn't. I ain't seen Hakeem Jeffries make no AOC cry. Keep in mind, LBJ would literally sexually harass his colleagues as Senate whip. We used to be a real country. AOC's outfunding everyone in the House. Man, that's great and all, but her seat is secure, and she's not attacking the Dems, so I don't know what the fuck the point of that is. I know she's going to direct some of that money elsewhere, but, like,